I was 12 or 13 when I started drinking alcohol and smoking weed. Started getting really heavy into drugs when I was 16 because my house burned down and my brother died. So I kind of just at that point flew off the handle and never reeled it back in. Never was completely dependent on one thing until I was about 20. And I decided that opiates were what made me feel normal. And I spent a lot of years dependent on pills, even as I had kids. And then finally, that became much too expensive, and I switched to heroin. That actually only lasted about a year because even though it seemed less expensive, it was very expensive. And also, even though my life had become unmanageable before that point, after that point, it became incredibly unmanageable. And I left jobs. I was letting my kids down. I was letting my kids stay home from school because I couldn't get up and help them. I was keeping my husband home from work because I was sick. I was going through any money that I had and more. So once I started doing heroin, everything went out of control and tanked really quickly. I've always kind of been a self detoxer, and I have always had like this little regimen that I do to get off opiates, which involved other drugs, and then I would kind of just white knuckle for months at a time. You know, until I messed up again. So I got to the point where I was sick of being sick, and then also I loved the feeling, but I was never happy. So I finally went to my mom and I was like, I need help. I can't do this. And by the way, I need money to pay my bills. So she got on the internet, and this was the place that she found. And I held out for weeks because I wasn't comfortable getting something that was going to completely block opiates because, of course, I had reservations. But finally, it got to a point where there was really no other choice. So at that point, I gave in and we came to the Coleman Institute. The Coleman Institute staff is amazing. Everything about the process I would recommend. And on the first day I was here, one of the nurses said to me, which I'll never forget, she said, I know you're an addict and you think you deserve how you feel, but you don't. And you have to tell us everything that's wrong so we can try and fix it. So the fact that it was 5 days and I knew what the end date was of me feeling like this, and the fact that any time that I had a problem, when I came and checked in the morning and got my shot, they would ask, what is wrong? And they would fix as best they could anything that's wrong. And if you call the detox line, they'll answer immediately and they'll address the problem immediately. If you call after hours, they call right back. All of the nurse practitioners are extremely nice. After a few visits, everybody knows you by name. When you come for your follow-up appointments, they know you by name. They remember everything that you've told them. They ask you about something that you told them from the last time and how you're doing. And they just act like, and I think that they really feel like that they're proud of where you've gotten to. Everything's different because besides the detox, my approach is different, which I don't think would have been the case if it wasn't for the aftercare at the Coleman Institute. So now I'm figuring out how to be a mom, how to be a wife, how to have a normal life and make commitments and be happy. I would recommend this place over anywhere else. First of all, it's okay to be scared of the whole process because at all, if you decide to go to detox or rehab or, give up what you know and love, it's hard to do. But at some point, unless you want to go to jail or die, you're going to have to do it. And this couldn't have been a better experience because there's so much personalized attention. I know the whole staff by their first names, and they know me too. And, they know who my husband is. They know how many kids I have. It's very personalized. They call and they're not, this is, somebody from the Coleman Institute and blah, 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 blah. They're like, hey, Whitney, just, calling to either check on you or see if something's right or ask you a question, and nobody judges you. And I would have come a long time ago had I known that this place even existed, because I've always, done it on my own and never wanted to tell anybody, and always kind of had to just, smile and act like I had the flu the whole, all the time. So on the one hand, it's nice to even let people know so you don't have to hide. But they just treat you with so much respect that you don't even feel like a drug addict when you're here.